Now we finally talk about flows. As I said, the process builder and the workflows will go to retirement sooner or later, and it will be replaced by flows. To be honest, I know once you have like the first touch points with the flows, it seems to be complicated. On the other hand, it's really just a thing of training. Once you get used to it, it's not even that complicated anymore. And really, with flows, you have the ability to do things in your org where you needed really a developer a few years ago. And therefore, it's really, really practical tool. And really, don't be worried. Once you're in it, you will get it. So first of all, type in flows into your setup. Then you have here the list of all your flows. That's a few that are pre-installed by Salesforce. And now let's go here and create a new flow. And once you click on it, you see here, basically you have 5 different types of flows. You have screen flows, record triggered flows, scheduled triggered flows, platform events, order launch flows. We will go all over this in detail, more or less, some more others less. And once you click here on all on templates, you see um, you have here a lot of more things you can do with it. But I think really also for also for your exam to know the 5 basics is really enough. And as I said, we will go over it, and let's start here with the screen flow. A screen flow, let's call it, it's really an upgrade to the in-app guidance. So you can guide your users through processes, and you can also, let's say, let the users interact in the process and type in data, create records, update records, and so on. So let's create a record, let's create a flow. And what we want to achieve here, we want to have our customer service team or whatever you call it to create leads directly from their homepage. So, at the beginning, it doesn't look that spectacular, to be honest. It's just a start and end point. And here you have the choice to choose between order layout and freeform. Once you click on freeform, you have here all our elements, and you can place it on the screen wherever you want, and um, yeah connect it. See here we have a few elements here. We have a screen. We will come to this in a moment, just to make your actions visible. Then we have actions, like the actions from the workflow itself. We have email alerts, tasks, and so on. Here you have the logic to it, and then here we have the ability to create, update, and delete records. Basically, flows are such a huge topic that I will give you once again the link to the flow builder help page from Salesforce itself, because I'm sorry, but I think I can't cover um, every scenario you can achieve here with flows itself. So let's do a basic example to all of this. And let me switch back to our order layout, and let's start with our screen flow. As I said, what we want to do, that our sales reps or customer service reps, however we will call it, should be able to create leads directly from the Salesforce homepage. Before we move on here, let's have a look at our page layout. For me, at the moment, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 fields that are mandatory on my page layout. And if these fields are mandatory on your page layout or on the field level security itself, and you want to create it from a flow somewhere else in your org, you have to make sure that these fields that are required are also required in your flow. Otherwise, you get an error message and it won't happen. So let's go on and first create a screen to put in these 4 values here. So we have name and company, with are both text fields. We have lead currency and lead status, which are both pick list values. So let's go to our flow builder and start here and choose a screen element. So once you do it with this auto layout, you have here the same elements you had on the left before, just in between every step. Okay, we have now our new label, and let's call this create new lead. And here you can configure the header and the footer. And let's say we do not need this previous button, so we can remove it from the footer. Rest is okay. So as I said, what we want to do first is we need two text fields for our last name and our company, which are required fields. So let's go in here. First field is the last name. We will make this required because it's also required on our page layout. And we have here also the way to display this based on a condition, but let's do this in a later stage. At the moment, just create our 4 fields. That's a text field also for the company. Make this require also. This is quite easy. And now let's switch over to our pick list values. And let's create the first one for our status. We will make this require also. And here you have to choose to just type in pick list values, like new, for example, add a new choice. But we have this pick list already in place. So what we can do now is we can create a new choice resource. And here you have a few options. And here you see we have one that's called pick list choice set. So here we can create the pick list values we have already on the fields as a pick list. Give it a name. It's here. Lead status. And the object is the lead. Data type is a usual pick list, and the field is here the status. And let's create the exact same thing for our lead currency. Make this require as well. Make here a new choice set. Call this once again currency. It's once again the lead object. It's a simple pick list. And it's here the lead currency. So let me save this for a moment and let me show you what we have done so far. Let me save this whole screen first and call this demo screen flow. And what we can do now is we can run it and show what we have done so far. We have here a last name, we have the company, we have the status, all our pick list values, and the same for the lead currency. But that's basically it. Everything we have done so far, we have just a form where you can put in data, but nothing will happen with this data. So before we will execute also an action after it and create a record, let me show you two special cases, or let's say one special case here on our screen. We have now our name, company, status, and lead currency. And I copied over the whole status pick list values. And therefore, I want to make sure that our users are also choosing the correct record type. And therefore, I will once again choose a pick list, call this record type. As said, we have partner leads and direct sales leads as pick list values. And therefore, I want the users also to choose this one. We will display the data type will be text also. And when we now create a new choice resource, we need to select not the pick list value sets itself. We have to choose a record choice set. So it's not pick list values we created are really record types, and therefore we have to create a record choice set. And the object now is the record type itself and not the lead object. And what we can do now is we have filter record type records. Here we can get now our lead, and therefore we type in as object type, and here we will select the lead. And what's now a bit difficult is we have to choose the label, and the label is the name. In our case, the name direct or partner leads. Data type text, but the values in the background are the IDs of this record type. So therefore, we will choose the record type ID. API name, sorry. And now let's click on done. Let's save it once again, run it. And you see we have now here the record type with the names, direct and partner leads. Let's say now, let's go back to our element, and for example, if we choose the record type direct, we want to show another field, but only if the record type equals direct. So let's pick here the lead source, for example. The lead source is also a pick list. Everyone knows already how this works. We call this just source. This is not required in this case because it's, let's say, it appears conditionally. And once again, we will create a new choice resource for it. In this case, it's the pick list set. It's once again on the lead. It's a single pick list, and it's the lead source. And as I said, what we want to do now is here we have the set component visibility. We don't not want to have this field visible always. We want to have it just if the record type equals, and now we can choose, for example, direct, but now we will have a problem because, as I said, the names are shown, but everything what's happened in the background is based on the IDs. So let's click on done. Let's save this and let's run it once again. And as I said, even if I choose now the record type direct, nothing will happen. Therefore, we need the record type ID. Therefore, just go to your record types, and in the URL on top, you have the record type ID. And once we go back to our screen flow here, edit it, and change the value here from direct to the ID of this record type itself. That's now the record type ID of my direct record type. Click on done, save it once again, and run this report. Flow, sorry, not report. You see what will happen now once I choose the record type direct. I have also the lead source here. Okay, that's it for our first screen element here. In the next step, what we want to do now, once we put in this data in our form, we want this record also to be created. And therefore, we will add another element, and our element here is now create records. Call this create new lead. We have this already. So we want to just create one, and here you set create records from these values. But I want to create a whole object. That's the reason why I have to choose here use separate resources and literal values. And now I can search for the lead object itself. And what we have to do now is we have to do a field mapping, because at the moment we just have like variables on a form, and we want to have everything was on the form also to be really transferred to the records itself, so to the lead record in this case. So let's start, for example, with the currency. And you see here we have one pick list choice set with a currency. Same we have to do for the company. The same we have to do also for our status. Once again for the last name. And the same we have to do for record type. And at least also our lead source, because we added this field. And now we can click on save. And now we're basically done. We have created our, let's say, screen itself for the input. We've created also our action to create the records in the background. The last thing we have to do now is we have to save it and activate it. And now we are able to use our flow. Therefore, and as I said, we want to do this from the home page itself. So let's go once again to our Lightning App Builder. You know this tool already. And you see here on the components, we have one component which is called flow. Let's put it here on top. And here you can choose your flow. It's our demo screen flow. Click on save. And now we're able to put in our lead. Just click on next. And once we go to the leads now, you see now that our demo screen flow lead was created. At this stage, we're basically done with everything what we need. But yeah, there's perhaps a smarter way to do it, because you see here, um, you don't know when a lead is created. Uh, you can type in here 10 times the same lead without recognizing that he was really created, and this can lead to a lot of duplicates. And therefore, let's say put another screen into it which shows you that the lead is created. Therefore, we go back to our demo screen flow and put in another screen element here. And what we want to do now is we want here to have a display text. Display text is lead created, and we will say here in the text, new lead was created. And now we can click. Where are my problems here? Here we have to name it first. Because our lead was active once, we have to save this one now as a new version of it. And activate it once again. And now we can go back to our home page. Fill in our form once again. Call this demo 2. And here you see we have now a message showing that a new lead was created. To make this even more smarter, what we can do now is we can create here a link into this message to link directly to the newly created lead. So once again, let's go to our back to our demo. But before we do that, let me go to one lead and grab here the whole URL of the lead. Go back to our flow. And what we can do now is we can hyperlink this whole message here with a lead URL. What I did now is, let's say, just the first step, because I've just took the URL of one specifically, but we want to have always the URL of the newly created lead. And herefore we have here one resource which got created from our system itself, which is called lead ID from create new lead. So this means every time this create records object will create an own ID for this new lead. And what we can do now is let's copy this resource, go to our link and delete here this one URL from this one specific link and replace it with our create new lead resource here. And of course we can now delete it for the display text. Click on done here, save it once again as a new version, activate it, and let's go back to our home page and let's see what's happening here. We make a demo 3 out of it. And click on next, and you see here we have also once again our message showing A new lead was created, and once we click on this, we have a direct link to our new created lead. So that's a simple example for a screen flow. As I said, I'm sorry, I perhaps can't give you an example of every scenario you will have, but at least some kind of basic knowledge to it, I hope so. So that's it for the screen flows. You will get the link to the whole flow builder help site from Salesforce. Thanks for your attention and see you in the next flow video.